The New York Jets are going to win tonight on Thursday Night Football at home against the Houston Texans. The New York Jets are going to win. It's going to be 24-20, 27-23. They're going to win by about a field goal, 4 points. Young quarterback C.J. Stroud of Houston. Too many things line up against him. On the road, short week. Receivers are all banged up. They can't protect him. This is a New York Giants win. Home teams have done very well on Thursday Night Football. So when the Jets win tonight, all I ask, because they will win, C.J. Stroud, by the way, home, he's 10-2 in his career. Road, he's under 500. Everything dips. Completion percentage, yards per game, touchdown passes, passer rating dips. He's like a lot of young quarterbacks. He is really good potentially when everything's lined up. You put him on the road, can't quite hear, missing a receiver, protection breaks down. C.J. Stroud, my guess, Jets are pretty good on early downs defensively. It'll be a lot of third and longs for C.J. Stroud. Protection will be an issue. Jets will win. All I'm asking is when you win tonight, could you have a moment, I'm not asking for much, of humility, just a moment. Because the last time you won on Thursday night, again at home, short week against a team that wasn't in the right spot to win New England, the next several days, New York media and Jets Nation had the composure of a 9-year-old after eating 2 pieces of birthday cake. Just take a deep breath. You're a 2-6 football team. You do not have the infrastructure or leadership from the owner, the head coach, the offensive coordinator to be an elite team. You are now in survival mode at 2-6. You'll be 3-6 after tonight. There's 2 or 3 teams in the AFC. Let's not even count the whole league. In the AFC, there are 2 or 3 elite teams: Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo. Then there's another 3 or 4 teams that I think are very good and could win a playoff game if things line up. Texans, if they're healthy, they're not now. Chargers and the Steelers. And then there's one team in the AFC I think is going to be good next year, but they're a little young at quarterback. Need another draft, the Denver Broncos. You do not qualify as any of those. And you'll win tonight because the circumstances line up.
Okay, let's talk about this because he's really kind of railing on the Texans. I mean, he's kind of railing on the Jets and the Texans. But this whole idea, and again, I'm not making any predictions. I have no idea who's going to win this game. I think the Jets actually have the potential to be a pretty good team. And as you guys all know, that I'm pretty, very high on C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. But this idea, though, that C.J. Stroud needs everything right, going well for him to be able to thrive, and that's why his record and win-loss record is 5-6 and this, that. To me, when you look at it like this is implying that he gets worse. Now, to a degree, for any quarterback, that's theoretically, technically true, right? Technically. But this is making, to me, this right here misrepresents who C.J. Stroud is and the Houston Texans. Now, to some degree, a bulk of those games are obviously your rookie year, and that's to be expected, to a large degree. But what he's been doing this year has been nothing short of extraordinary. I mean, dealing with all of these, he's a second-year player. For some reason, we do this with our quarterbacks. As soon as they shed the rookie title, we expect them to be seasoned Hall of Fame veterans, right? Like, especially if you're supposed to be great, right? So people expect C.J. Stroud to be great, right? They expect, any of these quarterbacks to be great. They expect in that second year, especially if they have a great rookie year, that they're already at their peak powers, right? And one, that's unfair, of course. But two, this idea, though, that C.J. Stroud hasn't been holding this team together is just not giving C.J. Stroud the respect and the praise that, quite frankly, he deserves. And I think Dan Orlovsky has done a really great job. And I think Marcus Spears, I forget who else, but they've really emphasized this very well. And I think I've already done a few clips on some of their takes of just what C.J. Stroud has been able to do, how there's been a lot of issues with this team, unfortunately, with injuries and whatnot. And maybe, I don't know, I'm still on the fence about this, questioning a little bit of how Bobby Slowick has been dealing with this. And I've kind of defended that Bobby Slowick, being a young coordinator, probably will be at his best when he has all these healthy pieces and weapons, because he is a younger coordinator. So his ability to kind of just add in new pieces that are not Nico, that are not Diggs, etc., and that are not, Mixon, that it's harder for a coordinator to be able to still be a great coordinator under those circumstances when you're that young, right? It takes time to be able to develop the skill set to be able to be like, yeah, I know how to change an offense and run an offense and come up with different game plans depending on who is in and out of the lineup. That is a skill set in itself. So I also do give Bobby Slowick some grace. But I just don't like that this is all falling on Stroud's shoulders. That there's this idea of like, well, he struggles on the road and therefore like the Texans are kind of in a tough spot. And it's like, I see it more as the team struggles potentially. It's not like CJ Stroud all of a sudden doesn't know how to throw. When you see the completion percentage dip, it's not like all of a sudden he's on the road and he's like, oh my God, and he like throws the ball 10 feet over the head of his receivers. Right? Or there's some pressure on him. He's been dealing great under pressure. Like, that's the thing. He's under pressure all day, every day, nonstop, like top of the league right now. And yet he's been making do. He's been leading this team to wins. It's really been Stroud and Mixon who have been able to overcome any of the liabilities and issues that this team has right now. And so, like, so Colin has a lot of confidence that the Jets are just going to win. And again, I'm not saying that the Jets are going to win or lose, Texans win or lose. I really don't, because like I said, I do believe that the Jets are actually a pretty good team, and there are legitimate just injuries that are stacking against CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans, so it's technically a safe bet, right? But I'm not betting against CJ Stroud either. I'm actually really excited to see this game. I mean, throughout this whole season, we've seen CJ Stroud have to overcome, an inconsistent lineup, offensively, and a not so stellar offensive line. So I'm excited to see him continue to overcome and do these things and be successful in this way, even if it doesn't lead to a win. Quite frankly, I think CJ Stroud is a special quarterback, and that is why I think like Dan Orlovsky like really highlighted that well, where it's like, dude, Houston Texans fans need to be so grateful that they have CJ Stroud right now, because this team would be a dumpster fire if it wasn't, right? What CJ Stroud has been able to do and overcome, most quarterbacks would not be able to do, right? Which is why I still think he's in the MVP conversation. I don't think at this point he's necessarily leading, unless he continues to win. It'll take a little bit more big time moments and big time wins for him, I think, to probably cross that threshold. But if we're actually having a realistic, honest conversation about it, what CJ Stroud has been able to do this season, considering his circumstances, I think has been absolutely extraordinary. So I just don't think it's completely fair to kind of be like, the Jets are going to win. The Texans have a lot of injuries, and look at CJ Stroud's record, home versus away. He's a young quarterback. He's better at home than he is away. What are you going to do? And it's just like, I'm like, well, can we unpack this a little bit more? Like, this does not feel that this is portraying CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans in the most accurate light. So I really wanted to kind of highlight that before this game, more than anything, more than just talking about like who's going to win, the Texans or the Jets, like, because these are two teams that really need this win right now, quite frankly. And both teams are dealing with a ton of adversity, and the Jets should in theory be healthier, and they are at home. And when you're at home and you're on short rest, it's typically going to be a little bit easier for you. There is definitely a ton going on for the Texans right now, but either way, I'm just excited for a great game, and I think at the very least it should be competitive. So I'm excited for the game without a doubt. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans? Apparently just struggling on the road, not being a good team, and all that fun stuff. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.